I am Dr. Harbir Singh Gill, and I am a family physician with a special training in addiction medicine. When I learned about treating addiction, I then had to sort of explore all the evidence-based technologies that we use to treat addiction, such as medications and non-pharmacological interventions. And one of those very powerful tools is mindfulness and meditation. So my background in meditation comes from my clinical practice, as well as all the various personal and professional development courses that I've done, including yoga teacher training and other kinds of Kundalini yoga and other systems. I had anxiety as a university student in medical school, and it was like first or second year of medical school, and I was having like chest tightness, and I couldn't breathe, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, "Yeah, I've checked you all out, I checked your asthma, it's not asthma, it's just anxiety." And I said to him, "Okay, so what do you do?" And then he said to me, "Well, two options. I can put you on medication, or you can learn to meditate." And so I was like, "I don't want to be on medication, so how do you meditate?" And the physician was like, "I don't know." And so then I kind of had to figure it out. It's a lifelong journey, but I used to be into it when I was a child, had some detours in life from that, and so then I picked it up then, and have been steadily developing it since. I was 6 or 7 when I picked up a gutka. So in the Sikh religion, when we put our prayers inside a small summary book, it's called a gutka. So I picked up the gutka and I read a long poem. It took me 2 hours to slowly read because it was in Punjabi. Nowadays it takes me about 8-9 minutes to recite it, but it took me 2 hours. And that was one of my earliest memories of doing any kind of intensive meditation work. What you have to understand about well-being is that it all depends on your relationship with stress. So when our relationship with stress becomes toxic, i.e. the stress overwhelms us and occupies our mind and is activating our survival thinking, if that's left for too long, you get a primary response to stress and a secondary response to stress. So the primary response to stress is like the adrenaline. It's like anxiety, heart's going, you have all these thoughts are racing, and then you get the secondary response to stress, which is your hormones are starting to rise. So there's stress hormones like cortisol and other things that start to rise, and they stay high for long periods of time. It's those hormones that make people have high blood pressure, for example. So when we're mentally stressed out, our system first shifts into a primary response, and then if that stress persists, it shifts into and activates a secondary response. And so what you have to do is you have to learn to relax the system. So that's done by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a set of neurons that include most of the body in the vagus nerve. There's many cranial nerves, but that's the one that deals with the body. And it activates and induces a relaxation response. So it's opposite of stress. And so when we do that, those two responses, just like they got revved up by the stress, they can get revved down by the parasympathetic system. So meditation is the art and the act of learning how to mindfully activate the parasympathetic system in a way that you can turn it on when you need, during periods of stress, or before periods of stress, preferably, and that's why people maintain it all the time. They meditate every day. It's to keep that system revving, so that when you have a stressful event, you can rev it up easily. But if you haven't used your car for like 6 weeks, rust starts to build on the tires. So then when you started it, it's kind of rocky, right? So meditation's like that. We want to learn to develop control over our ability to activate our parasympathetic system to reduce our heart rate, reduce our breathing rate, reduce the rate of thoughts, and various things. Resilience and regular practice are really tied hand in hand, and basically it comes to, when do you do better on a test? When you've practiced lots and then the test comes and and you pass it, or do you do better when you haven't studied anything, no practice, and then you just take the test? Most people, they will do better when they practiced. So meditation's a funny thing. At our center, Nam, someone says, yeah, I tried meditation, didn't work for me. Or I tried to breathe slowly, it didn't work for me. Most of the time, physicians are like, oh, okay, I guess that didn't work, let's go to the next thing. But at Nam, I say, why didn't that work for you? Are you a robot? Is there something sort of like fundamentally different with you that you don't have a parasympathetic system? And the answer is you're not a robot. You're a human, but you have a block. And so when we do a daily practice, we're undoing those blocks so that we have ready access to that system, so that when there's a stressful response, we can quickly bring it down. We activate it before it gets bad, and if it's still bad, we can bring it down further. So regular practice allows us to develop the skills, and like with anything, I think there's like a 10,000 hours, right? That's what they say it takes to master any skill. So 10,000 hours, I'm not saying you need 10,000 hours, but I'm saying that repetitive practice induces something called neuroplasticity, which is if you do something again and again and again, your brain develops synapses to make it more efficient. So when you have a daily practice, then that system is active, it's ready, and then when you have a stress, it can shut it down, and you can remain in frontal cortex kind of adult mode. Meditation ultimately is the experience of the neutral mind, and meditation will enhance all performance. So performance psychology is all about teaching people how to be in the moment so that when they shoot the basket 2 seconds before it's closed, they're more likely to get it in under that pressure when they have a regular practice. And the reason for that is we all have self-doubt. We all have parts of us, we want to shoot the basket, get it in, but we also have parts that say, you can't do it. You're not going to make it. You suck. You're this, you're that. And those same parts are active when you're about to make it. So when you access your intuition and you're practiced in accessing your intuition and your neutral mind, then you'll have a clear slate in your consciousness and you can focus on the one tasks you want to achieve. So if someone ever taught me the importance of meditation, meditation makes you smarter. It drives up performance. No one ever told me that in university. If you meditate every day and you meditate right before your class, when you have your exam, you will perform better. And that's because you will have access to intuition, which is the state of knowing, even though you may not know exactly why you know, and you will navigate in a better way. So that's, whether it's doing a quick meditation, 5 minutes, breathing exercise, typically it takes 3 minutes of any meditation, breathing exercise to regulate that first response. Heart racing. Most people who try to meditate, they don't meditate long enough. It takes 3 minutes of breathing to bring it down. So slowing the breath, a really quick, practical way to breathe, is just breathing in over 5 seconds, holding for 5 seconds, and exhaling over 5 seconds. Breathing in over 5 seconds, holding for another 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That slows your breath to 4 breaths per minute. 4 breaths per minute is a relaxing breath. Anyone can do it. You don't have to have good lung function. But if you do that during a conflict, your system will stay regulated so that you can be at your best to, bring it down. Whereas if you let it go wild, you're going to say something you didn't mean, and you're going to get revved up and bothered. Whereas if you're breathing at 4 breaths a minute, which is easy, just breathe in 5 seconds, hold 5 seconds, out 5 seconds. If you breathe at that rate while you're doing your exam, if you practice that every day for 5 minutes, then you will experience a performance boost. It'll also work on your creativity. If you have a creative art project and you want to access your neutral mind, slow your breathing like that. Do it for 5 minutes and ask yourself a question. What should I make? And take the first answer that comes up. Those are some practical tips for how to incorporate into the busy student. So from a biological perspective. People who meditate, they have healthier lives, they get less heart disease, they get less high blood pressure, they get better cholesterol. Social benefits is that you can be at your best without needing a drink, for example, to liquid courage, as they say, in order to be social with people. You can regulate your emotions in real time, so you can land the job, so you can perform well under the pressure. Psychological benefits are many. Like, when you're under stress, it takes a toll on your mind. When you're under stress, you talk more negatively to yourself. When you're under stress, you're bothered. And when you're bothered, then you're more likely to get depressed. You're more likely to get hopeless. You're more likely to not exercise, not do all those things. So a big benefit of meditation regularly, and it's just 5 minutes a day, is quite sufficient to improve your overall psychological well-being and your ability to take your mind and get to where you want to get to your goals. And then spiritual benefits. Connecting to deep self, that's what meditating is we connect to ourselves. And that's very helpful for if you're religious, deepening your association and understanding of religion. If you're not religious, connecting to who you really are, so that people can't tell you you're ugly, because you're beautiful inside. You've built a relationship. And spirituality is really the art of loving yourself. You can only do that if you spend time with yourself on a consistent manner, just like any relationship. So when you spend time, consistency, and effort in a relationship, it grows. And so too it is with yourself, which is one of the biggest main benefits of a regular practice of meditation.